Velux have been making roof windows now for over 70 years. So there's many reasons why customers may choose to take this opportunity to replace the old windows. Today we're going to look at what you need to understand regarding the replacement options and also certain things to consider based on the generation of window that you're replacing. Something to consider is the change in installation heights. Before 2001, our windows worked with L-shaped brackets, and they actually sat a little further out of the roof, as you can see here. In 2001, we brought out our corner brackets, which effectively lowered the windows about 27 millimeters further into the roof. So if you're replacing one of our older variations, you need to consider the height difference. So our standard flashings wouldn't fit by themselves, which is why we have a specific flashing for this elevated height of window. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. When replacing the older windows, we offer 3 different options with regards to the flashing styles. 2 of which are a variation on the same theme, which are effectively taller versions of our standard flashings. One comes with insulation and one without. The 6000 variant is the one that comes with insulation. And that offers you the ability to improve the original installation as much as possible, as it's highly unlikely there would have been insulation there originally. One thing to be aware of with this, however, is that adding the insulation to the window effectively adds about 23 millimeters of additional thickness to the overall size. So all of the tiles and the slates that you originally removed to take the old flashings out will now have to be trimmed back, because as you can see, once we fit this on, the side flashings will now sit almost an inch further off the window. So if you're happy to trim these slates or tiles, you can give yourself an insulated new installation. The other option is the uninsulated variation of the same flashing, which is what we're going to fit today. Option 3, which we'll actually see in a little bit more detail in one of the other videos that we're going to show you, is to use our ELX adapter flashing along with a current installation flashing kit. The reason for the ELX adapter flashing is to help you bridge the space that the current flashing wouldn't be able to fill because the window's sitting that little bit taller. So these are merely intermediate parts that just help add another layer of cladding to help bridge the space. Now, we fully understand that if your normal working environment is outside on the roof, that's where you're going to carry out the principal parts of the installation. But for the purpose of the video, we're going to follow the Velux principles that everything can be done from inside the roof structure. So let's get the installation started. Now, I'm also sure quite a few of you will have noticed that this isn't one of our older windows. This is actually a current generation of window, but it's one I've used for training in the past, so it's looking a bit tatty. So it does quite nicely for this part of the installation. So firstly, we'll pop the frame out, having already removed the screws. And then we can pop the new frame in place before we actually need to worry about fixing any of the brackets in place just now, as it sits quite nicely on the original plasterboard lining. So to secure the window now into the roof itself, we're only going to use the screws supplied with the window, not the brackets, because naturally they're designed for a lower installation height. Instead, you need to open up the flashing box where you'll find a specific box of brackets necessary for the job. When replacing an older Velux window, it's still important that we follow the Velux best practice principles, namely to ensure that all of the work that we do improves the overall original installation as much as possible. Now, we mentioned adding insulation around the window earlier, possibly using the 6000 variant of flashing, but for either version of the flashings that you choose, we also have the option of using the underfelt collar and the drainage channel. Now, by using this, it naturally protects around the installation, but one thing to bear in mind is if you've bought the 6000 variant of the flashing, you'll need to consider buying a recessed underfelt collar, as that factors in the added insulation, so gives you a little bit extra width to go around there. So I'm now going to fit the underfelt collar, and then we're going to be ready for fitting the final pieces, which will be the flashings around the window. So with the underfelt collar now fitted, we'll bring our tiles up to the window, and then we're ready to fit the flashings. If this is the first replacement you've carried out, but you are used to carrying out normal Velux installations, the good news is our replacement flashings are pretty much the same as fitting an EDL or an EDW. The only difference you'll find are the slightly taller sections, but how they fit to the window and how they integrate with the tiles or slates will be exactly what you're used to. So with the flashings fitted, all that would leave you to do now would be to replace the original tiles or slates around the window, and then just finally insert the sash to seal everything off. We hope this video has been of benefit to you. But please remember you can contact your local Velux service technician anytime you require additional advice or support. And alternatively, you can go onto our website where you can find installation instructions and further product information.